Moment of truth. Okay, I hear it going. Let's go see. Oh my gosh, y'all are so annoying. It would probably be too much to assume that if I put this in there, she would eat it. This video is going to be a lot of fall cleanup. It's also a lot of prep before we go on vacation, which is hard to do when you have a farm. This is my first one in 3 years. But by the time you see this, I will have already been back. I showed you that T-post puller that I bought. I also bought one of these. When I was researching automatic float valves, I of course saw the normal one that you hang over the side. I knew I wanted to get something for over the top of it because it just kind of sits on the rim of that. Cows are curious, they mess with everything. I've seen another farmer that makes a welded top to his float valves. So I was looking for something that could go on top of it that I didn't have to weld because I'm not the greatest at welding. And I ran across somebody's review of one of these. But I do want to run this a while before I leave to make sure we don't have any problems. But this outlet here is 3/4 inch. Okay, so I just took this out. You're just going to screw it in down here and make sure this is facing downwards. They said even if you have to loosen a little bit, make sure that's facing downwards. But I need both hands to do this correctly. Well, the plumber's tape didn't hold up very well. And there's a nut on the other side. And then I bought this adapter because this is the male end. I needed female, and then I needed the water hose to attach to another female end. And luckily this part stays still and this part is free spinning, so it works for a water hose. Okay, and the next part would be attaching the hose to it. And the last thing before we hook it up to water is to attach this float at a level to where it's not going to go above the top. So I'll tie it off to there. Moment of truth. Okay, I hear it going. Let's go see. Oh, somebody's peeing too. A little bit of leakage. Mainly at this connection, I think. I really yanked down on it, and I used this blue monster tape. This is well worth it. I don't know what it costs, but it works perfectly. It stays better. And we're filling. That probably hurts. Just wait till it fills up more. You thirsty? Hey, I had to tie the string down a little bit more because it filled up too much. I had it tied too high. But that is a strong float. Something I've recorded several times that never makes the final cut in my videos, and it's checking to see if the pigs are pregnant using witching wands, I think they're called. I just call it the witchcraft. Anyway, so I'm gonna do that and hopefully it'll make this cut. Might be a little loud because nobody else has been fed, but you have to do it while they're eating, and I don't want to reopen their gates to do this. So I'm gonna do these three. These three should not be pregnant. They're supposed to be parallel. They're supposed to start right up here. Hold on. And then go down the pit. If it crosses, that means they're pregnant. It should cross about right there. But she's not supposed to be pregnant. Have to go kind of quickly because they're screaming at me, and we're not going to have overcast all day, so I want to get them fed before then. None of the 3 that are supposed to be on a break are pregnant, so that's a good thing. Dot right there is the only girl in here, but I'll do the boys just to do a test, a control. They like to switch where they eat, so hopefully she stays still. You're okay. The proper term for these are divining rods, and you're supposed to hold these rods about 6 inches apart and parallel to the ground straight out of your body. So there's times where I thought I was doing it right, but now watching it, my hands get a little close, and I know this pig is supposed to be pregnant, so my hands, want to make it do what it's supposed to. Even though you might laugh, we did too. There's been studies done, and this is pretty accurate. There's other breeders that have done it and found it pretty accurate. Someone actually wrote an article in our IPP newsletter, and she said there was a student that did a thesis on this in cattle, and it was like 90% accurate. It says she's not. Sometimes our gilts have problems getting bred the first time, and they wait a little bit longer, but she's almost a year old. I think she was born in October, November time, so she should be bred. He knows his job. We also haven't seen any action in there, so I'm going to assume she is bred and I'm doing something wrong with these because they're supposed to be pretty accurate. The next 2 up are gilts too, so we'll see where they are. I witnessed Helena getting bred, so I think she's bred. We haven't seen any more action in this pen either. Okay, this is Tonks. You have to wait at least 30 days after they've been with the boar. That way they go through 1 or possibly 2 cycles before you try. But these pigs have been with this boar for 3 and 4 months. Tonks is close to having babies. Oh my gosh, y'all are so annoying. I usually do 3 out of 5 or something like that, but I know the result I need for this, so I'm trying till it works.
Which begs the question, why am I even bothering?
She's bred. I don't know if you could see that or not, but when I go right before their hips, it turns, I'm holding them with my hands, it turns and crosses, and that's supposed to mean that they're pregnant. I have a feeling they're pregnant anyway. They're a little bigger, but Jenny is the one I'm really worried about because she hasn't taken since last summer, I think, and she is injured and she's with our most unreliable boar, but she's been with 2 boars. Okay, this is the pig I'm kind of worried about. She's not getting any bigger. She's also super dumb, so she may not let me do this, but she can't move very fast, so. Here's where the magic should happen. I don't know, Jenny. You might be replaced. Stop moving. See, it's going the opposite way. Like, she's way open, you know? That's not good. I randomly noticed Charlotte was sloughing off hair and skin from her nose. So I of course went to Google, but I really need a vet book. The one I want is expensive and it's not a fun buy. The funny thing is, I had just filled up their minerals I haven't in a while, so that could be why. It could be mineral deficiency, but it could also be mites. Just what I'm Googling. She's already had a wormer for internal parasites. We used to use ivermectin Poron, but the vet said that that doesn't really work for goats. So I'm hoping it does for external parasites, and that'll take care of that. For the minerals, I'm hoping to get them in faster and use, this is all I have right now, is Jumpstart. That's really weird. You can't really see any pustules, but you can tell they used to be there. It seems like she is healing. It would probably be too much to assume that if I put this in there, she would eat it. Another theory I have is fire ants, because we have a lot of them. Charlotte is actually one of our more skittish goats. I ended up having to wait for Derek to get there. We cornered her, and then I gave her the ivermectin over her back and the Jumpstart in her mouth. These goat pens haven't been cleaned in some time. I'm not like super worried about it because their poop breaks down into like really soft dirt. But I'm gonna get all this poop because the sheep are about to go in here for breeding season. And then I'd like to get the pressure washer and just clean up, just keep this barn as clean as we can at least once a year. In case my Uncle Steve sees this, I decided not to get all the poop because it breaks down and composts, so it gives us a nice fluffy layer of soil on top of the packed dirt underneath. And for the colder months, hopefully it gets colder, the composting action produces heat, and I want there to be enough heat for them to stay comfortable. If you watched my garden video last week, I talked about getting my first ever paycheck from YouTube. It took me 4.5 years, so I thought I would just tell y'all a little bit about how I started it off while you watch me clean. The whole reason I started these videos is to update friends and families about what we were doing on the farm. Not a lot of our friends and family do this, so a lot of people were interested. When I very first started, I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't really like my voice recorded. And I wasn't really trying to get subscribers. I wanted to keep it friends and families. At the time, I was very guarded with my information, and I didn't want anybody who I didn't like to know what we were doing. But that has changed, and I definitely love all your comments that are so positive and nice. Mid-2023, my best friend started her YouTube channel, Flora Creek Place, and she kind of got me over, I guess, my fears of going kind of bigger and trying to make money on YouTube. Now, my goal is not to be a bazillionaire on YouTube. I mean, it would have been nice, but if I ever get to the point where I dread doing this, I'm not going to keep doing it. All that to say, thank you for watching and getting me to the point of monetization. I put a lot of work into this channel, and hopefully it'll stay around. But don't leave, it's not over yet. Alright. Now I'm just going to let this dry up a little bit, if it will. And then I'll put straw down and put their thingies down. I think for now I'm going to clean out their bowls. If this is your first time watching, I normally do a 2-week update video on the farm, and that's been since I started YouTube. The other weeks I do a garden video, and then on some Wednesdays I do cooking, preservation, kitchen work videos. That's usually where I do my challenges too, like Croctober. So subscribe, like, share, comment, all those. And in the next farm video, you'll be able to see the breeding groups for the goats so we can have cute goat babies in the spring. Also, the water hose was leaking all over my shirt. That's not sweat. Not only sweat. Alright, here's the before. We're up to the brim in poop. And it rained the other day, so there's water in the bottoms of the top ones. Believe it or not, these rabbits get cleaned more often than the other animals. I spent a lot of time cleaning this dadgum fan, all the hair and dust off of it, and then it stopped working, so I had to switch out fans. Through the life of my channel, I've definitely changed my format quite a bit. I used to do all of my animals up front, no camera time, and I used to voice over everything while my husband was sleeping, so it's kind of quiet and almost whispery. Then I talked to some people and they talked me into actually being on camera, and it's easier when you're actually showing farm work to be in the camera. I also decided later on that it was easier to talk to the camera at the moment so that I remember everything, and it's 10 times easier to edit when you're not having to voice over like this. These bags are benefit the �ฑ𝐢𝐤𝐞 breast cancer thingy. So that's why I got the pink ones. I don't like pink. Here it is. That's leftover hay in there. And there we are, all clean, filled up, stocked up. Alright, let's get this chicken coop clean. First things first, let me get all these cobwebs off the light. I do appreciate the spiders though. They eat all the bugs. Much better. Of course it's not poop free. This is what a real chicken coop looks like. Not the ones you see on Pinterest. Not the ones people deep clean before they clean their chicken coop. Plus I have lots more animals than just chickens, so everybody's happy, healthy. I make sure I clean it probably twice a season. This might be a little high, but I wanted to hang it up so they don't fill it full of shavings. I brought some chain if I need to lower it some, but I think they can reach it and they can go up on this platform if they can't. I don't really want to raise this up because I think it will sling a whole bunch of water around when they get it clean though. I raised to the height of this heater so they won't have trouble getting under there. They might even be off heat when I leave because they might be old enough, but the nights are getting colder and colder, so why not give it to them? It's no big deal. Went into Tractor Supply this morning and they told me that this barrel feeder was on sale for half off, so we got it for $200. We've been looking for one for a while. I'm in the trailer, hoping it not roll, but we're on a private driveway, so it's okay. The one we were looking at, full price, was $600, so this was too good of a deal to leave there. Just to make sure the cows don't need anything while we're gone. But we're just getting everything prepared. I typically don't move the hay bales. That's Derek's job. Usually, if Derek's not here, then Floyd, my neighbor, will move it for me. This tractor's out of service, so we're having to use a different neighbor's truck with a hay spear. So I'm just gonna roll this into place, and then we'll flop it over the bale when he gets in. So here it is in use, and this is just so they can't waste a bunch, because with what they don't eat, they spread out and they lay on it and they poop on it. So this will get more eaten. And we think Lady Bird, the big longhorn, can eat from up here, and then she might be able to just put her neck over this. But we are going to put one more without the ring, of course. That way the babies do have a warmer place to go in the wintertime. We can build it up so it can start decomposing, and it releases heat and it's soft, and that's where the babies like to be in the wintertime. Probably in another drawer. Of course, we mowed not too long ago, and it may look different in the camera. This is still, you know, about 2 inches tall, and then other places it's a lot taller. This is near the barn, so it gets grazed pretty good. But they have plenty of grass out here. We just wanted to give them a bale just in case. It'll tide them over till we get back. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I upload some Wednesdays and all Sundays, and you can keep watching us grow our farm. Have a good one.